Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. Today we're going to talk through some stuff. We had some changes made to the team. Luke will address all of it. He also tweeted about it all, so you guys might already have an understanding there. But we'll go through that. We'll talk through what's going on with the company and where we're at. Honestly, good things. And then, of course, I have some Pixels game updates to talk about with you. I have a new update that you guys don't even know about to leak. So I'm going to leak that all later today. It'll be really fun. I'm excited to show you that one. And then I thought it would be fun to do some giveaways because, as you guys are talking about in chat too, an NFT collection went live yesterday and we have a few of them. So I thought, why not hand out a few? So yeah, let's dive in. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the YouTube live chat or the Twitter live chat, not the comments, the live chat. And let's bring up Luke.
Hey everybody. Yeah, so today's been, not the most fun week at Pixels. Essentially what we did was we announced that we let go a portion of the team, right? And one, why are we even announcing that? So first and foremost, like a lot of the reason why we're publicly saying something like that is so that we can help find placements for everybody in the team that we've let go of, right? Because the hard part about Pixels is we have such an amazing pool of talent here. And it isn't the fault of anybody on the team that they were let go. It's just that we need to kind of essentially, one, extend runway, and then two, make sure that we're focusing on less things and doing less things better, right? So this is a pretty normal thing inside of a company. This happens time to time. What's interesting is in Web3, a lot of games and a lot of Web3 projects maybe don't even have the foresight to do something like this often. And instead, they just completely shut down, rug their players, and disappear overnight. What we want to assure people inside of the Pixels community is that we are here to stay. We're doing things like this, and sometimes you have to make hard decisions like this to ensure that you can stay, right? So the main promise I want to give to the Pixels community is we're still committed to the longevity of Pixels. What does that look like? Well, number one, that means we are making sure that there is treasury set aside to indefinitely run Pixels forever when it comes to servers, when it comes to infrastructure, all this stuff. Two, we still are working to actively see if we can make the game better, deliver improvements and updates, and see if there's an even better long-term solution than we've done. So here's where we're at. Here's the state of everything in Web3 gaming and all this right now. One is Pixels as a company is still not sustainable or profitable, right? And it's interesting talking to people inside of Web3 gaming because I hear a lot that Web3 games are extractive, but the thing with Pixels is we have given out hundreds of millions of dollars of rewards at this point. We have not done hundreds of millions of dollars of US dollar revenue, right? We also, anytime that we have revenue inside of the game right now, we don't take in US dollars, we take in the Pixel token, right? In an effort to help create an ecosystem that values the token and has it be useful inside of the in-game economy, right? That leaves us in a spot where basically we've been surviving off of VC funds for the last few years. Now, the general game plan that we were trying to go through was we were trying to figure out a way where we could essentially start to fine-tune the Pixel rewards that we're giving out through this metric called return on reward spend to be positive, right? Because one of the things we want to solve was we want to solve play to earn in terms of real money, right? So that means we were going to use the Pixel token to bootstrap things, get our return on reward spend over one, and then start to slowly boost that so we could actually start to use some of the same concepts we use in Pixels in US dollars. So that one, we could start to offer more stable rewards. Two, so that we could also, actually make money ourselves so that we can keep the lights on, have a sustainable business model, and actually try to innovate inside of Web3 gaming, right? So when you're building a company, you always got to think about two things. You got to think about burn and revenue, right? Pixels as a company, as a foundation, is still not really generating revenue, even though we've hit some really big milestones over the last like 6 months. Like about 6 months ago is when Pixels became sustainable. We've actually managed to stay sustainable since then, right? So that's the first step towards building an ecosystem, a company, and a game that is sustainable and profitable. And why do you want this? Well, one, if a game and ecosystem is not sustainable or profitable, and especially the company behind it as well, the company will eventually shut down, right? Like that is just how the world works. Now, again, the pixel situation is a little bit different because what we can do with pixels in any scenario is we can reserve treasury to keep servers running, all this stuff. But as we've been talking with the community over the last couple of weeks, like I think all of us agree, just keeping things the same is not really also considered successful, right? And this is what we are attempting to do here over the next year or two at Pixels. Is we want to, obviously keep the game alive, but we also want it to flourish and we want the ecosystem to grow. So there is a direction that we could have went where we just kept things alive and kept things as is. But what we needed to do is we needed to narrow focus so that we can actually, one, maintain things, stay alive, and two, also still have many shots on goal at growth. So what does growth look like and why is it important? Well, one, growth, again, is the mandate of anything out there, whether it be a foundation, a company, or a protocol. Generally, if things aren't growing, they're seen as dying, right? And you need growth because one, that leads to a more sustainable business model for us. And then two, it leads to the ability to also bring in new players, bring in new liquidity, and basically make the ecosystem feel better with all the players, right? So how are we going to approach growth with the things that we're doing? So one is we kind of want to go and like reinvent the wheel and like rethink about how we're viewing pixels in the long run. The reality with the core game of pixels right now is we've been updating it for the last 4 or 5 years. And we're always going to get criticisms over the updates that we do, and like what we should have done, what we shouldn't have done, right? The reality is I will give the team flowers. We got the game to a sustainable spot in a way that's not gambling, right? Like we actually built out rewarded play. We built a solid fundamental system there, and that took a lot of time. That's not something that other Web3 games have achieved yet. And now the next stage is kind of trying to figure out what the next step function would be to get it further. Now, one of the hard parts about Web3 games is somebody made a comparison in like a Twitter comment the other day, me like Stardew Valley was one person and they developed, farming and like a dungeon mechanic, and the Pixels team had like way more people. Why couldn't they do what this one person did? Well, it's so different. Pixels is multiplayer, right? Pixels has a real economy, and Pixels is live service. So that means we have to support all of these things at once. It makes the text significantly harder. It makes building take a lot longer. It's a lot more complicated. And not just that, when you start to do multiplayer, you have to think about anti-cheat, anti-bot, all of these things, right? So that's why when we build out features, we have to, one, like allocate a lot more time than a single player game would, right? And two, we also have to think about all these other considerations when you're building any feature, because all these things have to link. There's an economy associated with it, right? So we really have to be careful, and we have to scope down the things that we build on the core game, right? And that only allows us to have so many bets at once and only try so many things at once. Now, a lot of the direction that we're thinking with the core game moving forward is how can we make it so that more things can happen on the core game that leads to more interesting gameplay, that leads to like longevity in life for the game, not just like life support, basically. So the team is still committed to making sure that the game is not just alive, but also has room to improve, grow, and we're trying to figure out the ways to do that. Now, this is why we're leaning more towards an open source model. I have the opinion now that more people will be able to contribute to open source games than previously. We're kind of seeing a few different platforms go in this direction now. Like Roblox, for example, is adding a lot of AI assisted tooling to their engine. They're doing some really interesting stuff with upscaling. I think there's like a vibe code game um, company called Remix out there right now that's going more of like a casual and hyper casual route. Now, what's interesting about Pixels when we audit everything that we have is we actually have some pretty advanced tech when it comes to supporting an MMO in browser. We helped fix and add to this framework called Calisius, which is a multiplayer framework in browser using JavaScript. Like our principal architect helped architect a lot of the changes that we needed to do to make that scale. Um, and yeah, we have like a pretty comprehensive engine that basically allows a web in browser game to scale. This is the kind of stuff where if we open source it, and then we also have guardrails around the economics of Pixels, then there's actually some interesting chance for longevity of the game. So open source is one interesting direction that we're going to be going. And yeah, the thing that we're thinking through right now. We'll answer some questions about that later. The other thing that we need to do as we start to advance and build out open source in Pixels and think about like, the longevity of the game, the future of the game, and what we do with it, is we also still need to find other opportunities that lead to growth for the Pixel ecosystem, right? Because what we're doing here, again, is we want to build something that helps the ecosystem. When I talk about ecosystem, I mean the token, staking, all of this remain valuable and have a reason to hold, right? So the good news for us is we actually have a new game that is basically just around the corner. It's a game called Chupkins. We've been working on it for over a year now. I think it's actually been like a year and a half in development. And I know a lot of people don't love us talking about the game all of the time, but part of the reason why we're talking about this is because it's also a different approach and strategy. A lot of the work that we need to do in Pixels is figuring out how we can build out reliable, sustainable, like business models. And Chubkins actually looks like pretty viable in order to do that. So the reason why we think that is we've been running a bunch of paid ads. We have like a pretty low customer acquisition cost in these ads, and they look like a pretty viable revenue stream for the ecosystem, for staking, and all these things moving forward. And the investment's almost done too. So expect the open release of Chubkins to like a few more countries pretty soon. We basically have the final release before we're going to do like a lot of live ops tweaking on it to see, if it can find its footing in probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of what we're thinking today. I think what's going to probably be helpful is going through a bunch of questions. Heidi, if you've been seeing any stuff that we can kind of
Yeah, so let's just jump back to the very first thing we talked about today, and that is that the team is smaller now. This is always something that I find hilarious. Luke and I are not the only people on the Pixels team. I know sometimes people think that would be quite remarkable. We are not. There are still more people on the team than just Luke and I. And then the other thing that I did want to flag, because I think we should make this clear, like this was like a hard decision. No one was fired for failures.
Well,
like we have a talented team.
But the thing is, no, we have actually fired people for underperformance
In the past.
in
the past.
Pixels.
Not this week's decisions though.
Yeah, we have a pretty high bar. And yeah, like it's not always easy to let people go. Sometimes it's easier than others, right? Like in this current round, again, it's due to making sure that we have the time that we need to, one, be able to figure out a path for growth for Pixels when it comes to the ecosystem and all of this, right? Instead of shutting down. And two, like, we have fired people before for not performing, like actually quite often.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is a more broad, deeper question. How certain are you that this is a good path for the Pixels core game?
So the thing with Pixels core game, again, the high level that we're thinking is we've tried so many different game mechanics here. We've been slightly limited by engine, live ops, all of this kind of stuff. One of the things we thought about a long time ago was just releasing like Pixels 2, right? Like how could we take everything that we learned at Pixels, and if we were to start fresh, what would that look like, right? Because Pixels has, years and years of history. And this makes things like very, very difficult when you're building out new features, when you're trying to support old things. Now, here's the thing. We have a strong commitment and like loyalty to all the people who've been here for a long time. I know people sometimes don't always feel that way. And I think that's actually like a broader market sentiment, right? Like we have a team that's still building and shipping inside of Web3 despite how much it sucks, despite how much people say bad things to us. We are truly dedicated to you guys in the community. Like we could just not do this, right? Like we don't have to. I think I said the other day, if Pixels was a Web2 game and we were a Web2 company, the Web2 company probably would have shut it down at this point, but we're not going to do that, right? Because we, one, know that people love this game. Two, there's assets like land, there's, NFTs, there's so much history inside of it. We will make sure it's running forever. Now, given that, how do we create the best situation for everybody who has an attachment to the game, loves it, has assets inside of it, all of that, right? Well, that probably means adding a lot more functionality to the game in the long run and finding ways to have the core game like have more to do inside of it than what the team has been able to historically do. And when I say the team has been historically able to do, we have resourced core Pixels so heavily, right? Like, I think the burn for core Pixels was, it was a lot. It was a very heavy investment, right? It's not like we didn't resource it. It's not like we didn't have talented people on it. It's not like there wasn't an effort there, right? Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that we probably need to change up the approach to what we're doing because this is actually not something that you can just throw more money at. And that's the fun kind of problem, right? Like what are problems that are out there to solve that can't be solved with just money? And need to be solved with different approaches. This is why I'm more excited about thinking about open source, right? One, there is a really talented, there is a really talented Web2 or apologies. There's a really talented developer community inside of Pixels that's built a ton of external tools for Pixels. I think one of the things that would have been amazing is if we tapped into this sooner and just had them build on top of Pixels as well, right? The whole point of Web3 is that things are supposed to be community owned and the actual game is not, right? So how do we make the actual game community owned so the community can contribute and build on top of it? There's something interesting there.
Okay, do you want to scroll through the questions to see if there's anything else in there that you want to like on topic?
Yeah, I'll go through. First AMA after 3 months, already speaking of shutting it down and reduced team. Okay, so when I said that, guys, again, the commitment that we're making to the community and people is that Pixels is not shutting down. Pixels is going to stay alive forever. We have enough runway, we reserve treasury, or Pixels will stay alive. Pixels is going to be, the servers will be up forever. We've gotten it cheap enough to host servers forever. Now, just keeping something alive is not enough. So we're also committed to finding a way to make the game better and better in the future still. And again, this is us telling you guys we're going to change up the approach. Rather than having this be centralized development, I think one of the things we want to start to experiment with is how can we start to decentralize some of the support and development for Pixels 2. Now, when I say this is actually not a short and easy or quick thing to do. And it's not us being like, oh, we give up. Like it's actually going to take a couple months of development on our end to make this possible, right? And it's actually a strong commitment on our end and a strong engineering effort to actually even be able to do this. The reason why most games don't open source both client and server is because it's hard, especially a multiplayer game that has a live economy, but it's something that I think actually might be the unlock here. One of the things that we've seen that's been very positive inside of Pixels is UGC. And it's funny because UGC, when we released it at first, the team was not very confident in that feature. I was excited about it. But most of the team internally was not actually. I really had to fight.
I was terrified. I was like, this is going to be crazy, chaotic, whatever. And then it ended up being my baby. So
yeah, I had to really fight for that feature. And what surprised us was how high quality the submissions of UGC were and how much it worked, right? This is also my thought process if we were to go and move into more of an open source mindset. I actually truly believe that there would be a big enough unlock where new functionality would be unlocked, right? Somebody asked about Realms on a Twitter comment the other day. Realms was one of the directions that we were thinking about taking the game before we actually released the TGE. If you guys remember that and been following for a long time, we were kind of debating, do we go game route or do we go sandbox route? And I was really pushing for Realms after I saw the success of UGC. But we ended up finding like a lot of success with like VIP and getting a lot of traction with the core game back at the end of 2023, where it's like, okay, let's invest in that more. I always was like, I think we need something else in order to actually succeed long run. And yeah, now we're kind of feeling the effects of some of that, right? But in my opinion, the real unlock would come from open source, not just like open scripting. So Realms, essentially what it would be is it would be almost like a 2D Roblox if we were to go in that direction. It's about a similar effort to going open source. The difference would be if somebody wanted to add a new mechanic or new functionality into the game, if we just opened up the scripting language, it would be pretty limited in what they can do. I think we've stretched out a lot of the scripting language functionality with it as it is right now. Things like you guys playing soccer, color game, or all of like the tiny UGC events that we're doing, like you guys would be able to keep doing that kind of stuff. People would probably be able to make in-game quests, go down that route. But if we really open source the code base, one, you can do all the stuff that you'd be able to do in Realms with the scripting, all of that, creating new maps. Two, there would also be the possibility to add net new game mechanics, which gets very interesting. So that's the route that we want to go down, I think. And I think that will actually be a huge unlock. And also this is kind of a way to like make sure that the community, even if we were to go away, has the game and can support it as well too. We've made a ton of advancements over getting the cost of running the game down. It used to be, we used to pay like almost 6 figures a month in server and cloud. It wasn't super optimized, but also we had, you know, 1 million addresses on the game in a single day, right? Everyone pulling like a ton of images from the cloud. Like I think our AWS bill for just S3 for any of you developers was literally like 50 to 60K a month just serving images. And we've been able to get the cost down really low now. So that's great. But yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Do you want me to dive into some things? Share my leak? Are there more things you wanted to address first?
Yeah, let's keep going through a few things really quickly. Okay, a couple things. So UGCs are not really fun. Maybe for half the players who want more chase content, boost items that make gameplay fun. So one, we still will do some live service on Pixels and still release some new things over the next couple of months. A lot of the developer focus will shift towards moving closer to open source. But yeah, we'll still continue to update the game and have some of this as well too. Again, the idea here would be, can we make it so that the community can also contribute to some new things when it comes to chase, boost, and items? Now, this is also a part of this. So somebody said, who gets to decide what gets pushed? If Pixels goes towards open source, would you require them to buy Pixels land for them to use that land to be the portal to the game? And if Pixels becomes open source, what does it mean exactly when you say there could be multiple versions of the game? How would that work? So a couple things. One is in an open source version of Pixels, there's a couple different things that can happen. One is we would keep the main server alive, right? And it would be the official server of Pixels. But then two, people would also be able to host and deploy their own version of Pixels if they wanted to. That could be heavily modded or modified, basically. Um, Now, one of the things that we would need to figure out is what we do with like the main database, right? Because you have all of your in-game items currently in Core Pixels, um, and those are off-chain, right? Um, what we would probably do is we would maybe find a way to have you be able to just download a dump of the database of the snapshot, or we would also potentially be able to pull in different mods from versions of the game into the server, right? Now, what's interesting is Pixels has already built a lot of infrastructure when it comes to rewards, when it comes to blockchain, when it comes to governance, even. Like one of our devs and engineers built out a way to do governance. That is probably the exact perfect um, way to do governance for a decentralized type of game, right? Where you basically have the community vote on what would get moved to main. Uh, there's some things that you would need to consider there still, but the risk actually gets a lot lower. So part of the game plan also is we've already started this. Most of the Pixel earnings and the Pixel spend, if we do this, will move into Stacked. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to remove Pixel from the core game, technically, but not. That code will get moved to Stacked. We'll also give any like fork or version of modded Pixels very, very easy access to Stacked, right? So you could basically take Pixels, clone it, spin it up, and have your own Stack store, maybe your own way to give out earnings. That infrastructure stays separate. That's owned by Pixel Foundation, and that might be one of the stipulations that cloning Pixels. The other stipulation might be owning land or something like that too. There's a bunch of different things we could do with that. This is the kind of conversation that we want to have with you guys. Again, it will probably take 2 to 3 months, maybe even a little bit longer to go fully into this direction. The team's already made some good progress literally this week, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on what would make sense with that. Because again, I know not everybody's seeing it right now. Like I genuinely think this is for the best of the game and would actually make the game better than having a team of like 10 think about what updates to do next, what will work best, like spend months of design work, like a month of implementation. Like think about it realistically. If I put a team of 10 people on the core Pixels right now, one, it's a centralized way. We still have to decide what to develop. We get to do one thing over the course of like 3 to 4 months with a team of 10, right? That one thing maybe will work, maybe won't. If that one thing doesn't work, we have to spend another 4 months doing something again, right? Where does that put Pixels in 1 year? If it takes 4 months for each update, that's 3 updates over the course of a year. 3 updates can make a big difference, maybe. But like the likelihood of us blowing Pixels up again, doing that low volume of bets doesn't make me super optimistic, right? I think this is why I'm more interested in open source, where if we have even just 10 open source hackers try something new on Pixels and they get one thing out every 2 months, that's like way more volume of tries, mechanics, shots on goal, new fun things that can make Pixels better over the course of a year, right? Like this is why my brain is thinking this way. And this is why I actually am more bullish on this direction long run. And regardless of like company structure, this is probably what I was going to push for, even if we retained all of the team. It needs to be in the main game though. So again, if we open source, if somebody forks, you can merge in, right? That's always possible. Or somebody could push a PR directly to main if they wanted to as well. We are going to have to think about how to best allow merges into main. I don't know. what DAOs have done this. I need to look into that a little bit more, but there are EIP systems that kind of already go into this, right? This is probably the most interesting part about governance. Maybe this is what we do with land as well too. Having land decide majority of that. There's a bunch of different fun things that we can do with this. When it comes to land, again, we're still focused on making sure that we support community. We're here for everybody who believes in the game and the ecosystem. And land is obviously really a big part of that, right? We minted land almost 5 years ago. And if we want to see land have value for the next 5 years, this is the kind of stuff that we need to figure out, right? I know the NFT market isn't looking the strongest as it's been. Like even Ape and Pudgy, all of that, they're getting really funded right now. It's funny because I think a lot of people consolidate into one asset when they hold NFTs. You're either a Bored Ape, or you're a Pudgy, and you don't really get to see what's going on inside of the other communities quite often. The other communities are not the most positive either right now. And again, I think the big problem here and the core issue is that we actually all have to find like the sustainable business models in the long run and build stuff that people want that are significantly better than Web 2, right? How do you make a Web 3 game better than Web 2? Two directions, I still think, maybe three. Earnings is one, but you have to be smart with the earnings. Two, Web 3 probably does allow for more interesting types of real money games or gambling games. Not a direction that we want to go in. Three, community is actually one of the advantages of Web 3 over Web 2 games. We haven't really utilized that when it comes to core game development, and this is kind of the thought here. Oh, this is okay. So this is a update that we actually have coming out. So somebody just said, as we can't get pixels from Taskboard now, how can we buy stuff in game with coins? Any options to use those stacked pixels without depositing? Heidi, do you want to?
Is this where I jump in?
Do you want to go the updates?
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna wait till the end to leak this, but here we are. This is proof we are unscripted. So yes, the leak that I was talking about earlier is that the stacked store will be live soon. And so what that looks like here, I can actually show you. I have it all ready for you. Here we go. Let me just, it's better like that. Yeah. All right. So here's stacked, right? This is an internal environment. I will say this is not live yet, but I've been told that it will be live at some point this week. So this is exciting stuff. So as you earn on stacked, you earn stacked pixel, right? So how do you get that into the Pixels core game? It's kind of clunky and annoying, right? Like you have to withdraw to your wallet and then deposit into the game, which you can still obviously do if you just want straight pixel. But right, later this week, this will be launched. So you see here, this stacked shop tab will be available, and then we can click on the Pixels game, and here you go. So how this works is that your stacked pixel will be converted to vPixel, which you can pick up in game in your mailbox. So when you convert it here, you just go to, as long as you have the game connected, of course. Actually, I don't think you have access to this if your game isn't connected, so don't worry about it. But as soon as you click on one of these and you go through the process, you accept in-game through the mail. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. It's this. Is it gonna work? Whatever. But yeah, so this is exciting. Makes the process so much better, so much easier. So yes. So will all rewards be converted to vPixel? So it's up to you. You can still withdraw pixel like the same you're doing right now. This is literally just a new system to make it easier to get your pixel into the core game. Okay.
So yeah, this will also be generally like how we think about an open source pixels. Like essentially any game that is like building on top of pixels, if they did like a modded pixels, basically, they would be able to sign up in here. They'd be able to add a pixel store, have the items go into their pixel game, be a lot easier for them to set it up. And that way we also control a lot of the risk of like withdrawal deposit, like regulating any modded pixels as well too. Like there is like legal compliance that the teams would have to think about if they did this on their own. Makes it like nice and easy in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple other things I wanted to quickly go over.
Yeah,
all right. So obviously I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through the VIP update again, because I've already talked about it on two different AMAs, but the huge VIP update went live on Monday. So you can go to this specific post on the Pixels post and read through all of the updates that have come, the 1 month VIP coupon now available, and the new tiers and the new values and all of that. I think one of the coolest ones is the surplus energy, which I leaked on our AMA last week. But basically, surplus energy is here. So your energy bar normally maxes out at 1,000 energy points, whatever we're calling them. And you can't go above that. But now, depending on your tier, you can. So it's not a passive thing, just standing around. I'm not going to get over 1,000. But if I drink an energy drink or I click on like the VIP sauna and it exceeds 1,000, I will be able to exceed 1,000. So this is something that everyone has wanted for literally ever. So very, very exciting. And yeah, that went live on Monday. And then this is also very exciting, which I know Discord has been going off about since it went live yesterday. But the Neon Zone got an update yesterday, specifically the Third Dimension Redemption shop got a refresh. So there's some fun stuff in there, specifically. There's some fun stuff in the store. You can go check it out. What I wanted to talk about really was the Vapor Wheel of Fate is back, which is fun. So you can have 11 spins per day. And the ever famous Pixel Aura is available. So here are the wheel odds too, which is always nice to know. But I thought let's go in game together and see how many are. Sorry, I got a notification that something's wrong. Okay, let's go and see how many Pixel Auras are still available. So I just want to make sure you guys know that you can do this also. So here's our Vapor Wheel of Fate. Or maybe should I do it? I don't know if I have enough stuff stubs. I do. All right. I want an aura, guys. Let's go. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I can play again then. All right. I'm going to play one more time. More stuff. Okay, this is my fate today, it seems. Okay, this is actually my last time. And we got a Leaky Luke. Let's go. Okay, awesome. So how we can check is by who's here with me? Who's here with you're active. You're active. Can I give you my Leaky Luke? There we go. Enjoy. Come on, lid. Come on, lid. Accept. I thought they were active. I did. All right, we're gonna have to give it to someone else. Here we go. You can have my Leaky Luke. Enjoy. Oh, no, come on. Don't do this to me. I didn't give it to you in the end. This is hectic. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's see how many auras are available. So what you do is you grab an axe and you hit the wheel with the axe. No one has won an aura yet? You've got to be kidding me. Okay, you guys need to get on it. You need to get on it. That is some I think there's only one person in game that has one, and that's Alricky. So you guys really need to get on this. Should I play one more time and hope for an aura? Just one more. Just one more. Come on. If I get an aura, though, everyone's going to say it's rigged. You can see it's not. More stuff subs. Okay, so it's definitely not rigged. Okay. Moving on. The last thing I wanted to talk about was we did do some giveaways recently. We haven't done giveaways in a while. So we gave away a bunch of stacked merch. So the winners of stacked merch, they have been posted in Discord, and they've been DM'd by the official Pixels account. But I can read it out too. No idea how to pronounce this. This is really good. Exima. It could be Shimano, or it could be Eximano Gamer 111. Silverwing, we all know and love Silverwing, and Squeegee Plays. So congratulations to you three. You've been DM'd by the official Pixels account. And then the last one that everyone wants to know, right, is this one right here. And this is actually pretty crazy because this one was more, well, it's not skill-based because you don't really know. Like, you can make an estimated guess, but it's very hard to guess the number of lilies that was planted during this event. And this person got so close to the real answer that is actually crazy. And I commented right below the actual answer. So 1,300,000 or 319,393 lilies were planted throughout the Lily of the Valley event, and they were so dang close. Very impressive. So I've actually DM'd them. They responded immediately, and I've already sent them their bee NFT pet. So fun stuff. I think we should do more stuff like this. And then lastly, I said at the beginning of this AMA that maybe we could give out some weirdos NFTs, because that collection, I think I have their tweet. That collection went live. I think, yes, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. So it's really fun. And you just saw me in game too, walking around as my weirdo. So I have a few. So let's maybe give away like 3 today. How should we do this? I'm just going to scroll in chat and choose someone, and that's going to be the first person. And then maybe after a couple questions, we can choose another one. All right. I'm not looking. I'm just scrolling randomly. Dynamic Warrior. Oh, I'm so glad that you won. Okay, Dynamic Warrior, you have won Weirdos NFT. So reach out on, I mean, I know who you are. So reach out on Discord is fine. Just tag me or Sophia and let us know your wallet, and we'll get you a Weirdos NFT. Okay, I'll give out a couple more, but let's get back to maybe questions. Luke, do you have any that you wanted to go through?
Yeah, let's go through some. Somebody said something like this: why would somebody play a version of Pixels where there's no Kieran? So I mean, yeah, it's the whole point. Like, honestly, community is one of the strongest. Well, what I'm trying to get at is community is one of the strongest assets that we have here at Pixels, and you know, it's something that we feel a really deep dedication towards and a loyalty towards. And yeah, we want to build something that you want to keep playing for the next 5 years, right? And how do we get there? And how do we do that, right? Let's ask ourselves a question. If we turned off earnings inside of the game right now, how many of you would stay? It's an honest question to ask, right? And if you would leave if we turned off earnings, like, why is that, right? Is the game fun enough for you without that? Are you going to stay just because of community? Like, some of you might. And this is the key thing that we actually need to solve if we want to solve everything else, right? Like, how do we make the game more engaging? How do we do that in an actual time frame that we could, you know, retain all of you? And, you know, how do we build something that has earnings and fun together inside of it that works for both player and the game, right? Like, the reality is we can't just focus on the earn only audience in the short run. Like, a lot of the questions that we're seeing in the AMAs and on the comments still are like, this game was so much more fun when I earned more. Yeah, probably was. But again, this needs to be like a two-way thing for the longevity of both game and community and like company, right? Like if a Web3 game can't actually make real revenue, then there is no future for community assets or anything like that, anyways, unless the game is decentralized and community wants to maintain it. We have not seen any case of that, right? I actually think we have a shot of building out like a decentralized game stack. Our team is really technical, and we've proven that we can build hard things, right? There's a path there for sure. But yeah, how do we do that quick enough? Well, I think it's really tapping into the community more, right? What else is there? We need to become like the Sandbox by Animoca, decentralized. I agree. So what's interesting is I saw this like a couple years ago. I was very anti low code products when I started to see AI get a lot better. What I would consider a low code product is something like Webflow, something like Roblox, Sandbox, all of these. They are basically like UGC platforms that made building out something technical easier by offering very light scripting or just like drag and drop UXs, right? Now the reality is we got to talk about it. There's like been a whole technology or technological acceleration over the last little bit. Like low code is not important at all anymore, actually, because anyone can kind of generate code, right? Now generating safe, secure code is still not completely solved. And that's why if we open source Pixels, we remove a lot of the financial part of the open source. That way you set up and get into a bad situation. But yeah, I guess the key thing that I'm trying to get at is this is why open sourcing is more interesting to me. Like we want to give people the tools to build on top of the same code base. And I don't think the scripting way is the way to go anymore. I think like full code base access would unlock a lot more. Does this mean the new player experience updates and the Pixel mobile updates are delayed? I think we can still get the new player experience updates out, which will be great. Mobile is one of the things that mobile native Pixels we probably will put on the back burner for a little bit. Here's why. The game is like basically break even sustainable right now when it comes to like revenue, right? Now it's not profitable enough right now to be able to run a paid ad and acquire a new user and make money on that user, right? Which is why we would want to go to mobile if we did that. It needs to increase revenue per user if we were to go that direction. And how do you do that? Well, there's two ways to approach it. Again, it's like optimizing earnings a little bit. We're still going to mess around with Stacked a little bit, right? Like we do have a lot of good stuff inside of Stacked. But again, like, we reduced headcount. A lot of the focus or a lot of the work over the next like month or so will be figuring out where we really reduce focus. We are going really hard in the data science with Stacked. I think if we had 12 more months and like full resources towards it, we would probably figure it out. That is probably one of the things that we're going to ease back off of a little bit in the short term. So then what do we need to do to make Pixels a better experience where it could potentially grow? Well, we got to make the game better. How might we do that? Open source is kind of the idea here.
Okay, let's pause. I'm going to give away another weirdo NFT. Okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Okay, I'm scrolling in chat. I'm not looking. Scrolling in chat. Sir Capybaron. Oh, and I love this comment. Pixels is much more than earning. The game introduced me to a whole new world. I love that. I love that. Okay, well, I'm glad it was you that won. So yeah, we'll send you a Pixels, or sorry, not Pixels, a Weirdos NFT avatar. Yeah, just ping me or Sophia in Discord and let us know your wallet. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going through a couple questions right now. Somebody's asking a lot about merchant ships. Again, we're going to try to keep doing some updates in the core game as we move like forward with some of these ideas around open source. There's clearly one person that really wants an update there. So one of the things we'll have to do over the next little bit too is like, if you follow Pixels for a long time, when we told people this, it shocked everybody. It was a team of 10 that got us the TGE, right? Team of 10 like led the team or led the token like hitting a $5 billion valuation, right? And team is like close to that same size. We're able to get a lot done with a team this size, basically. So we'll still be able to do stuff. Don't worry. But also, if you guys remember, we had to let fires happen a lot back then as well. Which
Oh my
basically
gosh, you don't even know. You guys have no idea.
chaos. It was chaos. A lot of the
I
next,
was losing hair.
yeah, a lot of the next couple months will be like strict prioritization on the stuff that really moves the needle and what doesn't.
Mhm. Speaking of hair, there were a bunch of comments about our hair at the beginning of this. There's a you're wearing a wig. Prove it. I mean, it's a really well installed wig you got there. And then someone complimented it. Could someone please clip that? That was the funniest thing ever. Chloe, where are you at? Oh my God.
Okay. A lot of people said you would still remain because you like the game and it's fun. And what I'll say is like, okay, so if I'm being completely blunt and honest, like if we want to fix everything, this is the kind of player that we're gonna have to be building towards, and this is the kind of player that we're gonna be listening to for the next bit, right? I obviously have been like bullish on play to earn for a long time, but like you need to play also, right? Like we have stacked, we have some other stuff that we're working on. Even Chubkins is gonna be play to earn, right? Chubkins is coming out for like a more open release pretty soon. It will be play to earn. It'll look different than the play to earn inside of Pixels. Like a lot of Chubkins will be multiplayer play to earn, where you have to earn with another player and hit milestones with that player. It's kind of like viral play to earn in a way, right? But you know, Pixels is in a spot where it needs to focus on some of the fundamentals before we can like, you know, go as hard into the earning optimizations, right? And again, so what that means is earning will stay inside of Pixels, but when we think about updates, new things to build, optimizations, we are focusing on the things that we need to do to like better serve this type of player. Somebody said something about how many players bought land for earnings and how many for gameplay. Team pitch land is the most important thing in the game right now. Again, for NFT land, if you want your land to be useful for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we need to have something fundamentally sound behind it, right? Again, we've given out like hundreds of millions of dollars of earnings inside of the game to date, right? And what we need to figure out is how we can actually build the player experience that is bringing sustainable play to earn and sustainable gameplay and the sustainable business model if we want the longer to work out, right? So again, the short-term focus here will be on advancing the things that we need to advance that will enable better gameplay, stronger community, right? And rather than just focusing on like, how do we give as much pixel to these people before everything goes to zero? Because I think sometimes that's what the ask from people feels like, right? Now, we are committed to building here, right? Like we obviously all personally hold Pixel on the team, and like we have staked invested interest in this also, right? We are building for the long term, and like if you're a part of this community, we ask you to be here long term as well. It doesn't sound like something that you want. I mean, again, you can always sell something, right? Now, again, we are here telling you guys we're committed to building for the long term. We're focused on the gameplay. We're focused on the fundamentals. We're focused on building sustainable things, and we're outlining the path. I am personally excited and bullish on it. If I wasn't, what we would just say is, hey, we're stopping support for the game. We'll keep it live. Bye. Right now, I could be dedicating my earthly time to anything. So could anybody on this team. They're all extremely talented. But we choose to be here because we actually still see potential for growth and room for new exciting things. Again, if we didn't see any room to be able to grow core game or the Pixel ecosystem or staking or any of this, there's no reason to be building here still, right? We could go and move on and make money in AI if we want. We can go move on and live on a farm off grid. But
that's your dream. Don't lie to us. Like that's your dream.
we We choose to be here because we still see potential growth and we still see avenues that might lead to even further success for the game and the ecosystem than what we previously saw, right?
Absolutely. And we love it. All right, we got 2 minutes left. And we got to squeeze in another giveaway. What should we do for that one?
Hold up. Luke, you've never listened to players and you've always been off chasing the next good idea for years. People have asked for more focus, and now here we are. Guys, that's really not true. We listen to players all the time. Now, the issue is we have thousands of players saying thousands of different things every single day. And a lot of what you need to do also is you need to filter intention, all of this, right? Like, imagine a bad user coming in here into the ecosystem and their only intention is to extract, right? They don't have the best interest of the community in the long run, all of this. Like, they're going to come into the community and say, hey, I should earn more. I should earn more. I should earn more, right? This game sucks unless I earn more. Like, that is a type of user that actually does show up, not as much as they used to in the comments, right? Should we be listening to those users, or should we be listening to users that are, talking about gameplay? Well, one, different types of people like different types of gameplay, right? Like, there's a lot of different voices to listen to, and it's not, one, always easy to filter that out. Two, there's also a lot of other stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you have to consider when you're building something. Like, okay, people ask for combat for a long time. The reality is, if we had built combat, it would probably have taken us a year. Now, if I'm looking back, maybe that would have been the right approach back in like 2024, but that's not an easy decision to make when you have live economy, when you have like token out, when you have all these things, right? So like, there's always this risk reward that you need to balance when you make decisions. And this is why also like allowing more people to contribute to the game allows for more things to be made. And, it doesn't even become us listening. It becomes really wanting to see something happen, doing it as well, right? Because all of you care. Like, all of you guys really, all of you guys actually, like, who show up to these AMAs, I like genuinely believe you have the best interest of community, the friends you made along the journey here, all of this. So, like, I know you care. Now, how do we actually channel that care into something that becomes better? That's the hard part, right? Because we can listen to these AMAs, like, again, a centralized team can only do so much at once, which is why I'm thinking open source is probably the more bullish thing.
All right, we're at time. So I think we got to give away the last NFT here. What should we do? Should we do something different or same thing? We could do a quiz question, but what? What quiz question? We love it. We love it. We're not giving away land. We're giving away Weirdos Avatar NFT. Okay, let me think about. Oh, there's a ladybug on my window. That's like a good omen, right? Can I get it? Hold on. Will it come? I don't think it's gonna come on my hand. Come here. I want to show you. No, it doesn't like me. But anyways, it's a good omen. Okay, question. Okay, what was the name of the conference that Stacked showed up to 2 weeks ago and I also spoke at? What was the name of the conference? And then, yeah, so first to write it in chat will win a Weirdos NFT. It was not a Binance conference. They were the lead sponsor, and we were like with Binance. I want the actual name of the conference, not just like where it was. I don't want an abbreviation. Write it out. Come on, guys. Don't be lazy. Oh, wait. I think. Here we go. Camus. Congratulations, you've won Weirdos NFT. So tag me or Sophia in Discord and let us know your wallet and we'll send that over. Okay, let me write this down before I forget. But I think with that, we can wrap it up. Any last things
Yeah, I think just one more. This is a good question on like strategy and where the head is at with this stuff too. Pixels becomes open source and someone creates a fork, would they be forced to use existing NFTs or could they launch a completely separate economy without them? I'm almost inclined to think that the licensing agreement of forking Pixels would be use NFTs and existing assets and like hook into stacked. One thing that we could do to make that enforced is we could actually make it so you have to like use stacked to even like allow login into the game and stuff. There's a few different ways that we can make that happen.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. So yeah, closing summary thoughts. We're still here building. We're still excited about all the stuff that we're doing. We'll probably start to share more updates with Chupkin soon. It's going to look pretty significantly different in the next update that comes out, or at least the next one that comes out internally. You guys are about to get an update who are in early access maybe this week. There'll be another bigger update coming that'll change all the UX, all the UI, and it'll kind of be complete after that. We'll start growing the game soon after that. So yeah, there's exciting stuff. Appreciate everybody who's still here. And
I don't get it. Are they
what?
saying, are they calling you me? I don't get it. You're not even in a polo shirt. Anyways, thank you all for coming out this week. Congrats to our winners. Look out for the Stacked shop. It will launch later this week. And yeah, with that, we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.